IVM.
Hello and welcome to the Habit Coach Podcast, the bite-sized podcast filled with quick and easy actionable habits. Remember, great habits create that awesome life. I am Ashdin Doctor, your habit coach. And today's fun fact of the day has to do with semantics. Did you know that there's a big difference between the words jealous and envy? And I did not know this. I used to use these words interchangeably all the time. And most of us use these two words wrong most of the time. You see, envy is when we see something that someone else has and we see it as a lack in ourselves. We look at a quality that they possess or a physical thing that they have or own or a relationship that they're in. And we want that, but don't believe that we can get it. We don't believe that we deserve it. And hence we feel a lack in our lives, and that is envy. Now, jealousy, on the other hand, is when we have something that we are fearful of losing to someone else. So, for example, jealousy is when your best friend starts spending time with another group of people. You feel jealous. You feel jealous when you see your lover talking to someone else at a party. You currently own or possess that trait, but are scared of losing it to someone else. This distinction is so important. We are constantly mixing up the two. And I often hear people say, "Oh, I'm so jealous that you spent your summer in Hawaii." In truth, they were envious that you spent that summer in Hawaii. When we see a fancy car or a fancy house, we feel envy and not jealousy. What I find amazing about envy is that we look at what someone else has and we often believe that they do not deserve it. When we see the world through the eyes of envy, we see what we lack and then we want to take what is theirs. Not only are we creating desires in our mind, we're also secretly hoping that the other person loses what they have. It is one of those, if I can't have it, no one can have it style of thinking. This is dangerous. Imagine if the whole world thought like this. What a sad place it would become. Come to think of it, we are actually very close to that. You see, every time we have FOMO, the fear of missing out, it is envy that we are feeling. Others have fun and you are stuck at home working. That is envy. The best way to overcome envy is to learn to be happy for other people's success. Be happy for what other people have and not wish that they didn't have it. When you are happy for others, only then can you start the second step of overcoming envy. This second step is to look at what they have as a goal, as something that you would like to achieve. If you see a beautiful yellow Lamborghini that someone is driving, instead of being envious, be excited for them and then add a Lamborghini to your goals. Use them as inspiration and not as envy. You need to get into the habit of moving from a negative emotion to a positive emotion. In order to overcome jealousy, you have to realize that what you're scared to lose, you already have. You cannot lose something that you don't possess. So instead of being in that state of fear about the future and about losing it in the future, you need to learn to come to the present moment and appreciate what it is that you have right here, right now. If you see your lover laughing and talking to someone else at a party, you can feel jealous or you can appreciate the lover. Feel good that you two are together. The same way, if your best friend is spending time with someone else, you can pause and appreciate that you have a best friend and that she or he is awesome. Overcoming envy and jealousy is all about changing the lens that you use to see the world. If you operate from a place of lack, you will always feel jealous and envious. If you operate from a place of abundance, you will feel inspired and content. Usually in a podcast, it's me who speaks to you and you who listens. But I've been seeing your comments and it's time. It's me listening to you. Following the overwhelming success of this podcast, the good folks at IVM Podcast Network have decided to come up with a Kannada adaptation of the show for those who prefer listening to it in that language. Do make sure you let your Kannada speaking friends know about this as well. Now, if you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I am at Ashdin Doc on Twitter and Instagram. We have a brand new habit coaching online course, quizzes, videos, and a lot more on the website awesome180.com. So check it out now.
Hello, everybody. It's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network.
On the longest constitution, Priya talks about electoral bonds and why they're unconstitutional. On Press Decode, Sarah, Vagda and Prafulla look at the Indian competitive exams and their unreasonable rules. On Think Fast, Varun and Sujita discuss metabolic fitness programs like Ultrahuman and the pros and cons of home offices. On Cock and Bull, Cyrus and Abbas are joined by actor, screenwriter and director Rajat Kapoor. They talk about his love of cinema and his new film RKRK. And on The Habit Coach, Ashdin talks about the 5 stages of grief. Once again, I'd like to remind you all that we got some exciting merchandise out there for you guys. Go to the IBM Podcast website and click on the shop tab and check out our first collection of t-shirts. Also, do follow us on social media. We're IBM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. We're also on YouTube. Do remember to check out a bunch of our channels over there. And also remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please tell a friend. Word of mouth is very, very helpful for spreading the word. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors this week, both Lifestyle, Small Case, Capgemini, and Intel vPro. Thank you so much for making this possible.
We face 100 dilemmas every day while raising our children and nurturing our families. Why not let science help us make informed decisions to solve our dilemmas? Hi, I'm Devi Shobha.
And I'm Meghna. We host Big Talk About Tiny Humans, where we will help you unpack challenges around parenting and your child's development.
And more importantly, we will equip you with research-backed strategies that you can readily act on.
Tune in to our podcast every Wednesday on the IBM Podcasts app, website, or your favorite podcast platforms.